Smart 24, driving business.
You're welcome back from that short commercial break, and it's time for us to head into our business tip. And in the spirit of women business and celebrating International Women's Day, my tip for today is for you to identify your purpose and embrace the opportunity to grow. Oftentimes they tell us, what do you want to be? You finish campus, you finish school, and you're looking for a job, but you don't have a purpose. But the most important thing is to have a goal. As every person, have a goal and set. I see people make plans, make New Year's resolutions. I've never done it, but I think it is really paramount or very key for anyone's growth, because when you have something and you have written down something, then you stick to it and you have something to follow. It's like a push factor, a mindset in a way. So identify your purpose, and while identifying that purpose, give yourself an opportunity to grow. It's very key for any person, and for a woman that is watching Smart Means Business now, I think you should identify your purpose, be it in business, be it in life, but of course it has to be about that money.
Yeah, I know, I understand. For you, I'm going to speak like an ordinary Ugandan. Identifying purpose, yes, of course, but what about that rural woman? The woman who wakes up and goes to town, probably sells her bananas, and she's the breadwinner. At the end of the day, I'm going to speak to that woman. For that woman, saving is helpful in a way that the little money that you save on a daily, it can help you in future when you need to do something. I have seen these women who sell matoke. These women have built mansions, have taught their kids in universities. Simply because they save. You know, women have these serious business circles where they save their little money on a daily. There are those that save on a daily. There are those that save weekly. There are those that save monthly. That money can save you as a woman in future, so that you don't depend too much on the other gender. I'm not saying that you should not entirely depend. Of course, if you're married, there are those who are single women. That money, I've seen them. I have talked to some women who have made it in life through saving. They do not have these corporate jobs. They sell in the market, but they save that little money, which helps them in future, in case they need to do something different.
I would like to give you an example. This is a live example, something that really happened. So I was on this border, I was just in this border guy who told me that women nowadays have money.
Yeah.
We are no longer marginalized like they called us. We are not weak. People have money. Women have savings.
We do.
And this man even used an example of one of these days they are the ones who are going to be paying bride price. I don't know if the term still remains bride price. I think it will be groom price. So you might as well not underestimate any woman out there. People have their money. People are saving, and I like the fact of circles. I think that most people, especially the SMEs or the lower person, are using circles a lot. So any person that is maybe you cannot save in a bank. Who knows? Forget about what you have to save in a bank. Forget about what you have to do that. Every day in your income, just a portion, could be a third, a half of it. Set it aside and save. I like that. I can tell you this for free, that women are in circles more than ever before. They are saving. The women that are selling charcoal, women that are in markets. So they just need this digital space, because this is a new world. They just need this digital space to amplify their voices, realize the need for this, and you know, that's the best way they can grow, because
Actually,
this-
that is where the theme of the day comes in.
Yeah.
These women have money, but they don't understand these technology things. They don't understand that you can actually save your money on your phone. They don't understand. Sometimes it is their sons or their husbands who help them with such technology, and they find themselves stealing the money. I have my auntie, like, for her, like, she has rentals. She has like those small rentals. When the money is put on her phone, she fails to locate the money. So meaning she does not know this technology thing, and it is the nephews, the grandsons who steal this money from her phone, and she starts complaining. Perhaps Airtel or MTN has taken away my money. It is simply because they do not know how to use these technological things, this technology that they need right now, so that they can have their money. Their money is safe, and they can develop themselves with their little money on their gadgets.
Yeah, I really cannot emphasize this enough, that stakeholders, especially those concerned, we have we have women empowerment programs, these circles, the NGOs that whose drive is to drive women in business. I really cannot emphasize this enough, that we need sensitization programs. Cite out those women that are in business, equip them with this knowledge that they need. Let Uganda change for the best of the women in the digital space. Let us know what we need to do. And from that, of course, from that saying, I would like us to take a short break, but we will return with more. Please don't go away, because we have a lot more in stock for you.
Smart 24, driving business. Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome back from that short break. You are still watching Smart 24 TV and we are discussing women. We are still on women. Today it's our day. So going forward, looking at women in leadership, Rona, what do you think of Uganda when it comes to women in leadership now? I
think first of all, I must commend the government. We have seen more women in leadership, starting from the vice president, the prime minister, the CEO of MTN, the CEO of KCCA. These are women in leadership. And I must commend government because this is not something that was there 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think this is empowering enough. But now we're looking at this year's theme, like you mentioned, globally, about how many women are in tech.
The globally only 17% women are in software engineering, and when you come down to Africa, it is only 2%. That is something really that needs to be addressed, because if Africa, the whole of Africa, with all those women, because now when you come to Uganda, the biggest when you come to our population, the biggest percentage are women. And if you are talking about the whole of Africa, with Nigeria that has how many people?
It doubles our population.
Exactly. And if you're telling me it is only 2% of women that are involved in these things, this is something that is really needs to be addressed. And I must commend the people who made the theme for this year. They have also realized that there's actually a problem that needs to be addressed.
I like that. I like that, and these are some of the solutions or some of the ways in which we can support women in tech. And maybe this is for stakeholders like the Ministry of ICT, creating more female models. How can this be done? Sensitization.
I remember. Let me just interject here. I remember some. There's a minister of ICT, honorable. Former minister of ICT, I'm forgetting her name, sorry. There's a time she said she does not have a smartphone. She's not on Instagram and she's not on Twitter. She doesn't have a Twitter account. She's the minister of ICT, for God's sake. She's a woman. And
when was that?
Honorable Nantaba, when she there's a day she told the media, I do not have an Instagram page. I don't even have a Twitter account. This meaning that, and she has been put in that ministry, in that ministry. I love the fact that she said those things, because it is very true. Trust me, if you're going to go down and search on every woman, especially our women in leadership, and ask them if they do have those accounts, you'll get a smaller percentage actually. And if they do, it is other people manning those accounts for them, because I don't think they usually even have the time or the interest in that area. Yet it should be. They should interest themselves in these technological things.
I think also one of the things that I mentioned here is acknowledging the achievements of women in tech. COVID-19 was a blessing in disguise, if you can agree with me,
Yeah.
because it made us realize the need for ICT, of digital space. You saw the number of businesses that came up just because of the mobility and how we could not access people and how to transact things online. So COVID-19 opened our eyes, and I really hope that the businesses that came up from that were able to make it to past their first birthdays.
Yeah.
I also would like to recognize some of the players that have recognized financial technologies. I was attending a fintech symposium last year. I think I attended about 3 of high people. Yes, they were rewarding women that are in financial technologies. And I saw women get awards. I saw women that made startups, either cash loans, giving out services, e-mobility services, cleaning services, all these services that you can afford or you can access through apps. And I saw the number of women. And what made me even more happy is that most of these women were even young girls.
Yeah.
And I really hope now, I think, of course, for the youth, we might be, because we have grown up to ICT and we might know a little one or two things about ICT, but there are women in markets, and these women in markets have money. Like I mentioned earlier, circles, these women have money. They need to be accessed and taught about financial technologies. There is also, last week, sorry for that. Last week I was at a Sia Teens event where there were women in markets. I was so glad that they were in attendance, because there is an organization that is called ISAT that is recognizing these women, whereby you can buy your produce or your market, like tomatoes, green pepper, all those things that you can find in the market through an app. How interesting is that? So I wish that there are more of these startups, and these startups are acknowledged, because if they are acknowledged and supported, then other people can learn from them, and they can also venture into such very impactful things in society.
I understand that. Talking about that very point, my call on to government is to try to reduce the tax on data. Because now that we have more women trying to involve themselves in technology things, that is when the data is too expensive. We are being cheated. People are being cheated with these with these telecom services. Remember, there are areas where there's no internet, and the place has no internet at all. We've all traveled, and you reach in a certain area. The area is full of people, full of working business women, women in markets, but there's no internet. And you wonder if these people don't really need internet, because even internet does not only work on Facebook, whatever social media. It also helps in the banking system, because sometimes you go to access money through this ATM, whatever, and they're like, the internet is down, so we are very sorry. So what I would urge our leaders to make sure that the internet reaches everywhere in the country. I was in Tanzania sometime last year, and I was very surprised. I put data for 10,000, and I used to streamline YouTube, TikTok, those heavy things but that data lasted me for a month. I was like, what is happening in this country that does not happen in my country? And when I asked for those in Kenya, they're like, internet here is very cheap. It's very cheap. I would really call on to government to make the internet more cheaper and also accessible. Now, like Facebook, many women put out there some small business, their SMEs on Facebook, but you cannot access Facebook without using VPN. I'm still urging government to look into that. It is now coming to how many? 2 years? How many years now? And we cannot access Facebook without having VPN. We put data to access all these social media platforms. But okay, you regulate them, but remember, put in mind that these social media platforms are helping some people advertise, put out their business there to develop, especially women. Women who don't really need to go to work. Perhaps they have decided to stay home. Stay-home mothers, they are taking care of their babies. Their babies are still young, but they have their small businesses which they need to put out onto the social media platforms. But they cannot do that because the tax is too much. First of all, the data is very expensive. Make the data cheaper. We can do it. If Kenya and Tanzania can do it, why not us here? We have so many. I'm surprised there are some areas where this telecom company, the network is not there at all. I got my small MiFi and it does not work at all. And I'm like, we are in Kampala here, just here in Kawempe, and the network does not work at all. I'm like, what is not happening in this country?
What I also learned from the Siatin's event about women in tech, because they planned this or they held this in the celebration of women in digital space and equipping them or sensitizing them. I learned that Uganda has the most costly, with the most expensive internet.
Exactly.
Even beyond East Africa.
Yeah.
Why?
It is so absurd.
Okay, they remove the tax, the OTT tax, but then why make the internet
it's still like expensive?
And do you know what that this person from Nita you said in regards to this? They said that they removed the monopoly, and because of that, that is why the internet is so expensive. So it is going to take us around 5 years. Imagine 5 years to restore cheap.
That is so
wrong. It doesn't even make any sense.
It is so wrong. It is the most absurdity thing that is happening in our country. Yeah. We need to make the internet cheaper for our local people, for our Ugandans. True. Because it is not only even the government makes taxes through that. You need more taxes, and you're taxing. You're giving people more taxes. Things are expensive. How do you expect to get taxes from so many businesses which collapse due to lack of internet or whatever, so which would have gotten taxes from?
Yeah, that is really a call for government to reduce the internet costs, and of course that will usher us into a break, and we will return with more for Smart Wings Business. Stick around.
Smart 24